I need the money tomorrow. My son Ryan shouted these words while his wife Ashley stood behind him with her arms crossed. They thrust a folder stuffed with papers into my hands. $600,000, that's how much they owed. And they wanted me to cover it all. "Don't make us wait, Mom," Ashley said in a syrupy voice that didn't match her steely eyes. I looked at them both standing in my living room like they ran it. I slowly smiled. "Sure," I said right away. 4 hours later, I was waiting at the airport with my carry-on. When they returned to get the money, all they found was a dead-bolted door and a cardboard box on the steps. They opened it and shrieked so loud that my neighbor, Mrs. Morales, heard them from across the street. Betrayal, revenge, justice begins now. Before we continue, please hit like on this video and tell me in the comments what you think will happen next. Also subscribe to Granny's Voice for more stories like this one. The phone rang 5 times that Tuesday morning. Each ring was sharper and angrier than the last. I was sitting in my garden drinking tea and watching the birds. I knew who was calling. Ryan only called like this when he wanted money. Through my kitchen window, I could see his big black truck pulling into my driveway. The truck I helped him buy 2 years ago. Ashley got out first, checking her makeup in the mirror. Ryan jumped out and slammed the door so hard the whole truck shook. They walked up to my porch like soldiers marching into battle. I met them at the door before they could knock. Ryan hugged me, but it felt cold and quick, like hugging a store mannequin. Ashley didn't even try to hug me. She just walked past me into my house and sat down on my favorite chair, which my late husband bought me 30 years ago. "Would you like some tea?" I asked, trying to be polite, even though my heart was beating fast. "Let's not waste time, Mom," Ryan said. He was already pulling papers out of his bag and spreading them all over my clean coffee table. Ashley was checking her phone, typing fast with her long red nails. She didn't even look at me. "Can I at least get you some cookies?" I tried again. "Mom, focus." Ryan snapped at me like he was a child. "We have a serious problem and you need to help us." Ashley finally looked up from her phone. She fingered the diamond necklace around her neck. "The one I bought her for her birthday last year. Cost me $3,000. We wouldn't come here unless we absolutely had to," she said in that honeyed sweet voice. "You always told Ryan that family helps family, and we're family now." I held my teacup tighter and counted to 10 in my head. My doctor taught me to do this when I feel angry. "What happened to the bakery?" "Yes, Ryan had begged me for money to open a bakery last year. I gave him $70,000. "The bakery didn't work out," Ryan said quickly, waving his hand like it was nothing. "Business stuff. You wouldn't understand, Mom, but that's not why we're here." Ashley's phone kept buzzing. She kept typing and typing. Her wedding ring sparkled under my lamp. That ring had belonged to my mother. I gave it to Ryan to give to Ashley on their wedding day. Now she was spinning it around her finger, around and around. She always did that when she was lying. I'd noticed it at family dinners when she told stories about her job. "How much money do you need?" "Yes." The clock on my wall ticked 5 times before anyone spoke. Ryan's cologne was so strong it made my nose itch. Ashley's heel was tapping on my wooden floor. "Tap, tap, tap like a hammer. For someone with your savings, it's really not that much," Ashley said. She leaned back in my chair like she owned it. $600,000. We need it in our bank account by noon tomorrow. The room started spinning. I felt dizzy. My hands started shaking. $600,000? Not $60,000. Not even $200,000, $600,000. Said like they were asking for $20 for gas. I started to say, but stopped. Pictures flashed in my mind. Teaching Ryan to ride his bike when he was 6. Holding him when he cried after his dad died. Paying for his college. Walking him to his wedding. Was that boy still inside this man? "Mom, we don't have any other choice," Ryan said. His voice went higher. That was his lying voice. He used it when he was 12 and broke my window with a baseball. The house payment, Ashley's credit cards. You know how expensive everything is now. I did know. I'd been paying their house payment for 2 years. $12,000 every single month. That was supposed to be temporary help, Ryan said. Just until they got on their feet. Ashley stood up and walked to my kitchen. She opened my refrigerator without asking and took out a bottle of water. My water from my refrigerator in my house? These aren't regular people we owe money to, Mom. Ashley said she drank the water and stared at me with ice-cold eyes. These are dangerous people. It would be really sad if something happened to your nice house or if your friends at church heard about this. My blood started pumping harder in my ears. My head hurt. The room felt too hot. I grabbed the table to steady myself. "Mom, you look paler," Ryan said, but he didn't sound worried. He sounded like he was sizing me, seeing if I was weak enough to give in. Then Ashley said the words that changed everything. "If Dad were alive, he'd be so disappointed in how selfish you're being right now." Those words hit me like a truck. My husband Robert dead for 8 years now. Ashley knew I still cried about him sometimes. She was using his memory like a weapon. Never mind that Robert would have thrown them both out of the house for acting like this. "Your father," I said slowly, my voice shaking, "would have told you to get jobs and stop begging." Ashley laughed. Mean laughs. "I'm a consultant, Mom. I create opportunities." Ryan had tried 5 different businesses in 3 years. Each one failed. Each one cost me money. A food truck that never opened. A website that never launched. Clothing store that closed in 2 months. I paid for all of them. Every single one. "You missed Sophie's dance show last month," Ryan said, changing the subject. His voice got all sad and hurt. "And you didn't come to Mason's birthday party. But you have time to work in your garden. Those dance shows and birthday parties that I paid for. The dance classes cost $400 a month. The birthday party at the fancy place cost $3,000. But I didn't say that. Let me understand." I said I let go of the table and stood up straight even though I felt sick. "You need $600,000 by noon tomorrow." "For what exactly?" Ryan and Ashley looked at each other. That look that married people give each other when they're planning something. Ashley picked up her phone and scrolled through it. Ryan shuffled his papers. "Investment opportunity," Ashley finally said, time sensitive. "We can't miss this chance. You just said you owed dangerous people." That was the other thing Ryan said fast. His knuckles turned white as she gripped his papers. "This is different. This is cryptocurrency. Real estate, both." The slip was small, but I caught it. Cryptocurrency, not real estate. The same thing that cost them $100,000 6 months ago when I warned them it was risky. My left hand started shaking worse. I put it in my pocket. Ashley's phone buzzed again. She looked at it, typed something, then put it face down on my table. "Mom, we've always been there for you," Ryan said. "When you and Dad were having marriage problems, who supported you? When you were sick with pneumonia, who took care of you? You were in Hawaii that whole month," I reminded him. "I saw the pictures on Facebook." "That's not fair," Ashley said, standing up fast. "The wedding," I said quietly, starting to count. $50,000. The house down payment, $150,000. Ryan's first business, $80,000. The second business, $60,000. Third one. "That's ancient history," Ryan interrupted. He stood up too, trying to look bigger than me. "We're talking about our future here. Our children's future. The children whose school I paid for directly. The fancy private school that cost $15,000 per year per child." Ashley stood up and pulled out a photo from her purse. It was an old picture of Ryan and me at the zoo when he was 7. We were holding ice cream cones and smiling. She'd brought it like a weapon. "These aren't just requests, Mom," Ashley said, stepping closer to me. Close enough that I could smell her perfume, the expensive kind. "These are obligations. Serious people with serious consequences. Tomorrow at noon, or things get very bad for everyone. Your house, your car. That nice church group you go to. Are you threatening me?" "Yes." My voice came out like a whisper. "We're being honest about reality," Ryan said, but his voice shook a little. He'd never seen me this angry before. This calm and angry at the same time. "Mom, please." "We need this tomorrow, noon. That's final." The room felt like it was closing in on me. My head pounded. Ashley's perfume made me want to throw up. Ryan's papers were spread all over my table like trash. I looked at both of them. Mason, who had become a stranger, his wife, who had never even pretended to like me. The clock on my wall chimed 9 times. Outside, the neighborhood was quiet. People were watching TV. Kids were doing homework. Normal life. While my family was falling apart in my living room. "Fine," I said. The word came out flat and tired. "Tomorrow now, please leave." Ryan thought I was giving up. He smiled big. Ashley hurried forward to hug me. I stepped back. Her arms fell to her sides. Ashley held out her hand to shake. She squeezed way too hard, trying to prove she was in charge. "We figured you'd understand," Ryan said. He snatched his papers. "Family comes first, right, Mom?" They walked out without a goodbye. Ashley's hand was on Ryan's back, guiding him like a puppet she pulled. I stood in the doorway watching their truck roll away. The red lights got smaller and smaller. Then they turned the corner and were gone. I waited exactly 5 minutes. Then I picked up my phone and called my lawyer, Patricia Hayes. She answered immediately. She'd been my friend for 30 years. "They finally did it, didn't they?" Her voice was heavy but not surprised. "Noon tomorrow," they said, like I'm an ATM that just spits out cash whenever they push a button. "The house paperwork is already in order," Patricia said. I heard papers rustling on her end of the phone. "They don't know it yet. Ryan's name was never on that deed. Remember, you kept it in your name when you paid their down payment." "What about my sister?" "Yes." I began walking through my house, seeing it differently now. Not as a home, but as the place where my son revealed his true self. "Margaret knows everything." She said, "It's about time you stopped letting them bleed you." I hung up and went straight to my study. My headache had gone from piercing pain to clear thinking. My laptop was already open to an email from 3 weeks ago. Sunset Villa Apartments, Phoenix, Arizona, March 17th through April 17th. Your reservation is confirmed. The retirement planning trip was going to become something else now, an exit. I called Southwest Airlines. The automated voice made me press buttons for 5 minutes. Finally, a real person answered. The morning flight could be changed to 6:30 a.m., first class still available. One passenger? I opened my safe. The combination matched my wedding anniversary. Inside were folders with 20 years of papers. Every check I ever gave them. Every time they promised to pay me back. Every loan. Ryan's written promise from January saying this was absolutely the last time. Ashley's Facebook posts from last month showing their vacation in Mexico, eating at fancy restaurants, shopping at expensive stores while telling me they were broke. I found an old Amazon box in the garage, plain and brown, nothing remarkable. Inside, I placed 3 sets of papers. First, the deed to their house. Second, every loan I'd lent them, $320,000 over 6 years, all written down. Third, the legal papers Patricia had drafted last month, hoping we wouldn't need them. At the bottom, I put a USB drive with tonight's footage. The cameras I'd installed after someone broke into my garage caught everything. Ashley's fake tears, Ryan's threats, their plan to pressure me. On top, I left a note. "You wanted it tomorrow. Here's what you're really getting." The packing took 20 minutes. 1 suitcase with summer clothes, vital papers, medicine, my Bible. My dealership manager, Karen, received an email. "Family emergency. You're in charge." Details later. I stood in the hallway studying the family pictures on the wall. Ryan as a baby. Ryan on his first day of school. Ryan graduating college. Ryan's wedding day. In every picture, I looked deeply proud and happy. Now those pictures felt like lies. In my bedroom. I took off the ring Ryan gave me for Mother's Day 5 years ago. He'd said he bought it himself. I discovered the receipt last year. I paid for it with my credit card and didn't even realize. The ring went in the box with everything else. My headache was completely gone now. I felt lighter than I had in decades. My phone showed 4 text messages from Ashley. I deleted them without opening them. Ryan had called 3 times. The voicemails could wait indefinitely. I placed one more call, this time to my sister Margaret in Phoenix. She answered on the first ring like she'd been waiting. Patricia called me. Margaret said, "Are you really doing this? Should have done it years ago." "He's your son," Margaret said softly. "No, but he's not the son I raised anymore, is he?" "Well, he's not. The Phoenix apartment. You'll be safe there. It's not hiding. It's living. Karen can manage the dealership. The lawyers can handle everything else." Margaret was quiet for a moment. "You know, Ashley will try to find you. Let her try. By the time she realizes what's in that box, I'll be drinking coffee by the pool, deciding if I ever want to come back." "Who said goodbye?" Margaret understood. Sometimes mothers know when to let go, even when it shreds their hearts. At midnight, I stood in my quiet kitchen. The refrigerator was covered with my grandchildren's drawings, pictures with crayons, me and Grandma at the park, Grandma's house with flowers. I carefully took down one drawing, Sophie's picture of us baking cookies. I folded it and slipped it in my wallet. The children weren't responsible for their parents' choices. I put the box on the front porch where they would see it. The camera would capture their faces when they opened it at noon. When they expected money and found the reality instead, my alarm was set for 4 in the morning. 6 hours until my new life started. 6 and 2 hours until theirs fell apart. The alarm went off at exactly 4:30 a.m. No smacking snooze, no skin thoughts. I taught myself over 40 years of running my store to wake up fast. Today, that training had a different mission. The coffee maker started automatically. I'd set it the night before. Dark roast. The kind Ashley always said was too bitter when she used to visit for breakfast. Back when she still pretended to like me. The mug was warm in my hands. Ryan gave it to me 10 years ago for Christmas. World's best mom, it said. Back when he believed it. Through my kitchen window, the sky was just beginning to get light. I walked through my house slowly, looking at everything like I might not see it again. The living room still had Robert's chair. Ryan always wanted that chair. Said he'd take it when I died. Not now. Ryan's old bedroom was now my sewing room. His high school trophies still sat on the shelf. Baseball champion, math club president, the honor roll of every semester. That boy who won those trophies seemed like a different person than the man who menaced me last night. The backyard pool looked calm in the early light. I taught Ryan to swim there. He was 4 years old and very brave. Last summer, Ashley got drunk at my 4th of July party and stumbled in with all her clothes on. Then she blamed me for having a pool. Even so, I'd bought her a new dress to replace the one that got wet. My car started softly in the garage. I chose my old Honda instead of the newer car. Ryan had too many memories in that newer car. Too many times he borrowed it and brought it back on empty. The streets were empty except for trash trucks starting their Saturday morning routes. I drove past Ryan's neighborhood. Every house was dark. All sleeping, Ryan and Ashley were probably dreaming about how they'd burn my money. At the corner store, I thought about calling Margaret again, but chose not to. Patricia would tell her everything. The highway unfolded ahead of me. Almost no cars. Past my store, the furniture store I'd owned for 35 years. My picture was still in the window. Employee of the month from 1990. That picture would have to come down. Near the coffee shop, I saw the bar where Ashley liked to go. Where this whole mess started, where she met the people she owed money to. Gambling debts. Patricia told me last week. Ashley had a gambling problem. Bet on sports. Blew everything. Now she wanted me to pay for her mistakes. Construction on Main Street made me take a different road. The city I'd lived in for 50 years looked different in the dark, like a stage being set up for a play I wouldn't be watching anymore. Patricia's office was on the 10th floor of the tallest building downtown. At 5:30 in the morning, the building was almost empty. Just security guards and a few very early workers. Patricia was waiting in her conference room. Her assistant Rosa was there too. Papers covered the big wooden table. A box of donuts sat in the middle. Our tradition for important meetings since 1995. You look good, Patricia said, sliding papers across to me. Rested. First good sleep in months. I signed the papers with my special pen. The one Robert gave him when we bought the store together. This isn't charity, I said. This is protecting myself. Limited power of attorney, Patricia explained. 60-day expiration only for property and money stuff. Can't have you selling Ryan's kidneys or anything. Her joke didn't make me laugh. We both knew this was serious. Necessary, but sad. Rosa laid out me the property papers. They were very organized. The interesting part, Mrs. Chen, is the timing. Rosa said. She always called me Mrs. Chen, even though I told her to use my first name. The transfer was actually done yesterday at 3 Mar. 3 Dalgao. That was before Ryan came to my house, 2 hours before he threatened me. Ryan's house has been legally yours since Ashley signed those papers in 2221. She never read past the first page. The timing was perfect. While Ryan was driving to my house to demand money, he'd already lost his biggest thing. The house Ashley posted about on Instagram constantly, the symbol of their success, had never been theirs at all. The money locked down? Yes, done at midnight. Patricia said joint accounts frozen. Credit cards in your name canceled. The children's school payment continues until December. We're not punishing them. Patricia pulled out another folder thicker than the others. The nuclear option as we discussed. Inside were printed text messages, Ashley's messages to her friends calling me a walking wallet. Too pitiful to say no. Ryan's signed promise from last year, swearing December's money was the last time ever. The USB drive with last night's video. Their whole performance captured in clear video. The contract Ashley signed, Patricia continued, includes a gambling clause. Page 32, Section 5. If gambling debts go over $75,000, she loses everything in the divorce. She doesn't know. Her lawyer never showed up to that signing. Called in sick, so I read everything to her myself. Sadly, she was too busy checking her phone to listen. Rosa looked uncomfortable. Mrs. Chen, this is very thorough. You planned this for a long time. 3 years of watching, I said. 3 years hoping I wouldn't need it, but I did. Patricia pulled out an identical Amazon box. Same as the one on my porch. Backup. If Ashley doesn't find yours, this goes to Ryan's work on Monday. Along with these, she showed me photos. Ashley at the casino last Wednesday. Timestamp clear. The chips in front of her showing how much she'd lost. Margaret knows. Yes, she helped me document everything. She's been tired of watching you enable them for years. The Phoenix property bought through a private company, completely protected. Even if Ryan gets fancy lawyers, he can't touch it. I signed the last paper. My hand shook slightly as I wrote my name on Ryan's trust fund termination. 25 years of saving for his future. Gone with one signature. Patricia saw my hand shake. Coffee. She pointed to her desk. Another tradition. I need to stay clear headed for the flight. At 6 exactly, I stood and shook Patricia's hand. Her grip was strong and understanding. The elevator carried me down alone, each floor taking me further from my old life. The valet already had my car running. I gave him a $100 bill in an envelope. Karen Martinez will pick this up on Monday. The young man nodded, confused but professional. I drove toward the airport as the sun came up. The sky turned orange and pink. Highway 60 toward Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport felt different this morning. Each landmark was a goodbye. The taco stand where Ryan and I used to get breakfast before school was setting up. Not today. The radio was playing oldies. Temptations, My Girl. The song Robert and I danced to at our wedding. Ryan called 6 times in a row, then Ashley twice. Each ring felt like a countdown. Years ago. That sound would have made me answer right away. Worried something happened to the grandchildren. Now I knew it for what it was. The sound of people who saw me as a bank machine, not a mother. Mental checklist while driving. Karen had run the Saturday store for 8 years. She'd be fine. The property manager had instructions and 6 months of payment up front. The grandchildren's school money would keep going through December. They shouldn't suffer for their parents' mistakes. Everything else was not my problem anymore. The airport appeared through the morning fog. Terminal 4 was already getting busy. The valet was a kid named Denny. He parked my car many times before. Early flight, Mrs. Chen. Change of plans, I said. I gave him my keys and an envelope. Karen Martinez will get this Monday. His name and number are inside. Is everything okay? Better than it's been in years. I didn't look back at my Honda. That car had driven Ryan to baseball practice, to college, to his wedding. Let Karen decide what to do with it now. The first-class counter had only 2 people ahead of me. Sarah had checked me in dozens of times. Phoenix today, Mrs. Chen. I have you on the 6:30 flight. Perfect. 2 bags to check. Everything I need. She put tags on my suitcases quickly. I kept my small bag with me. Papers, medicine, Robert's watch, the few photos I couldn't leave behind. As she gave me back my license, I pulled out a sealed envelope. I need a favor, Sarah. Someone might come here later today. Ashley Chen. She'll be very upset looking for me. What should it tell her? Sarah's professionalism didn't change. Just verify her ID and give her this. Inside the envelope was a key to a storage unit with nothing in it. Ashley could waste her time looking through an empty room. Security took 10 minutes. The regular guards knew me from my business trips. Where to today, Mrs. Chen? Somewhere warmer. Business or pleasure? Either personal through the scanner, shoes off, bag on the belt. The normal routine of flying felt strange today, like I was in a movie about someone else's life. Starbucks appeared at gate B7. Muscle memory took me there. The barista Amy smiled. The usual medium coffee. Make it a large today? Special trip. You could say that. I sat at the gate. The coffee warmed my hands. My phone showed its last numbers before I turned it off forever. 9 missed calls from Ryan, 5 from Ashley, 18 text messages, 3 voicemails. Ashley's last text made me stop. Mom, please call. Something's wrong. I'm scared. I typed an answer. Being scared is the first step to growing up. Deleted it. Typed again. Check the porch. Deleted that too. Typed one more time. Call Patricia Hayes. Then I deleted that too. Instead, I turned the phone completely off. Took out the SIM card. Dropped both in the airport trash can. That phone could be someone else's problem now. First-class passengers for Flight 206 to Phoenix. Now boarding. The gate agent scanned my ticket with a professional smile. The walkway to the plane felt like walking into a new life. Steps felt lighter. The flight attendant at the door welcomed me to seat 3A, window seat, left side. I said yes to the offered orange juice. 7 a.m. in the morning was too early for champagne, but perfect for fresh starts. Other passengers came on board. A young couple holding hands and laughing. Reminded me of Robert and me 40 years ago. A businessman typing on his laptop like the world would end if he stopped. That used to be me building my store, working every day to leave Ryan something valuable. An old man with a cane sat across from me in 3C. He smiled and said, "Good morning." "Excuse me." A voice made me freeze. It was Margaret, my sister, standing in the aisle with her own suitcase, looking exactly like she always did, calm and ready for anything. She sat down in 3B right next to me. "Patricia called me last night." Margaret said simply, "Thought you might want company. This isn't your fight." I said, "It hasn't been for 3 years, but he's still my nephew and you're my sister. Someone should be there when reality hits." Margaret pulled out a book and reading glasses. We sat quietly as the plane filled up. The captain's voice came over the speaker. "Slight delay for final passenger." My chest got tight. Was it Ryan? Had he figured it out? But it was just a businessman rushing on, apologizing to everyone as he squeezed past. "Did you tell him?" I asked Margaret. "Tell him what?" That his mother finally stopped being his ATM. That his wife is a gambling addict. That he turned into someone I don't recognize. He'll learn today. The door closed with a heavy sound. 7:15 a.m., push back from the gate. 7:25. Engines getting louder, speed pushing me back into my seat. Phoenix grew smaller below me. My city for 50 years getting tiny like a map. Somewhere down there, Ryan was waking up. In 5 hours, he'd come to my house. In 6 hours, he'd find the box. In 7 hours, his whole life would change. The flight attendant came me with breakfast menus. "Celebrating something today?" he asked. "Justice," I said. Margaret laughed, a real laugh I hadn't heard from her in years. "That's the Catherine I remember." Welcome back. Below us, Arizona disappeared under clouds. At exactly noon, when Ryan expected $600,000, I was eating lunch above the clouds. Margaret reading beside me. Both of us finally free. I learned what happened next from cameras and witnesses. Patricia sent me the video 3 days later. I watched it on my tablet from my Phoenix apartment balcony. The pool downstairs sparkled in the sun while Myson's world fell apart on my screen. The timestamp showed 12 p.m. exactly. The first text arrived. "Your transaction is complete." That was Patricia confirming the house transfer was officially recorded. Right at that moment, I was ordering fish tacos at a restaurant near my new apartment. Ryan was probably still asleep. According to his normal Saturday schedule, Patricia had documented this. Ryan left his house at 11:15 a.m. The Starbucks charge at 11:33 confirmed it. An $8 coffee on the credit card I'd canceled at midnight. The charge wouldn't go through until Monday when the computer system updated. His last purchase on my money. Mrs. Morales, my old neighbor, gave us the next part of the story. She called Patricia at 12:10. Patricia asked if I felt guilty about the recordings. I told her the only thing I regretted was not starting them sooner. Sunday morning, March 17th. Ryan stood outside my store for 3 hours. Security footage showed him pressing the buzzer every few minutes, like a child repeatedly pushing an elevator button, hoping persistence would change reality. He called employees from the phone list he'd stolen years ago. Karen blocked him after the second call. Others just didn't answer. By noon, he'd driven to Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, the same terminal where I dropped him off for college visits, where I'd welcomed him home from his honeymoon. Now he was there as a sleuth, desperately looking for clues to my disappearance. Security wouldn't give passenger information. Southwest Airlines needed a warrant. When he claimed a family emergency, they checked their computer. Passenger specifically requested no contact. The agent told him Patricia had video from airport security. Ryan's face fell at those words. His Uber receipts that afternoon, the last rides before his account got cut off, showed a map of desperation across Phoenix. Catherine's furniture store. Employee won't talk. Entry denied. The restaurant where we'd celebrated every milestone. Haven't seen Mrs. Chen in weeks. Even my hair salon on Campbell Avenue, though it was closed Sundays, he stood outside looking through the windows like my hair appointments might reveal my location. Monday, March 18th became Ryan's legal education day. 3 law firms, 3 identical meetings. Each lawyer's face shifted from interest to pity as they read the documents. "These are completely legal," said the first. "You'll need a $15,000 retainer," said the second. "Do you have access to any funds?" The third, the store confrontation at 2 p.m., made it onto employee social media. Ryan stormed into my furniture store on Grant Road, demanding answers from Karen. Karen Martinez, 5'2", but tough-ass teal, stayed perfectly calm while he shouted about kidnapping, elder abuse, and theft. When he threw his coffee cup at the window, customers started recording. The brown stain stayed there for 4 days. Karen left it on purpose. Ashley's mother's voicemail at 4 p.m. carried a mother's fear. "Mrs. Chen Ashley hasn't come home since Saturday. Ryan says, 'You've taken her somewhere.' I know that can't be true, but do you know where my daughter is?" Tuesday, March 19th, the real creditors arrived. Not bank people in suits, but 2 men in expensive clothes who knocked politely and spoke softly. They left a business card with just a phone number. No threats, no violence, just the feeling of bad things coming. Ryan called Ashley 53 times. Her phone had been off since Saturday night. His Facebook stories that afternoon, screenshot by his friends, showed the pawn shop tour. Designer watch worth $8,000, got $2,500 cash. Ashley's jewelry worth $20,000, got $6,000 cash. His tools worth $12,000, got $3,000 cash. Still $576,000 short? That evening, Margaret took Ashley's call. She recorded it legally, knowing I'd need to hear it eventually. "Margaret, did you know Ashley's voice sounded younger, almost like a little girl about my gambling 6 months ago? Why didn't you tell Ryan? Would he have listened since? Then I need money. Will do. During your wedding, you told me Catherine was too weak to ever say no." The call ended with Ashley's sob cut off by Margaret's disconnect. Wednesday, March 20th. Ryan entered Patricia's office wearing the same clothes from his Vegas Facebook post. The same shirt, same jeans. Patricia noted it in her report. Same conference room where I'd signed the papers. Same chair where Ashley had planned how to manipulate me. Patricia showed him everything slowly, carefully. Power of attorney signed before his emergency. The house deed history. His signature from 2021. Never reading past page 1. Tax returns proving every dollar was a gift. Not alone. Ashley's gambling records. Thousands and thousands of dollars lost. She's my mother. Ryan's voice cracked. He has to help me. Legally, she doesn't have to do anything. What about my kids? Trust funds in their names? Untouchable until they're 21. This is elder abuse. She's 68 on mine. Left voluntarily. Patricia accidentally left Ashley's credit report visible on her desk. Ryan's eyes got wide as he read the numbers. 100,000 in gambling debts. 300,000 in personal loans he never knew about. 50,000 in secret credit cards. Even an attempted loan against his house denied because of ownership problems. The final envelope slid across the table. Mrs. Chen authorized one last gift. Inside, a $5,000 check and a note in my handwriting for a fresh start. Love, Mom. Ryan tore it in half. The pieces fell to the carpet like leaves. He immediately asked if there was another one. There wasn't. There never would be. Meanwhile, I was learning to paint with Margaret, taking classes at the community center. The teacher, an older woman named Gloria, called me a natural. My blood pressure had dropped 15 points. I slept 9 hours straight every night. Hadn't thought about Ryan in 3 days until Margaret mentioned him. Wednesday night, Patricia reported Ryan left her office at once he would have pumped to security. Footage shows him sitting in the lobby until the building closed at 8 p.m. The guard said he asked if you ever mentioned him. The guard lied. Yes, said you spoke kindly. Ryan said thank you and cried. That night in Phoenix, I dreamed about teaching Ryan to ride his bike, but this time when I let go, he kept riding away until I couldn't see him anymore. The Phoenix Tribune article arrived in my email April 2nd. Local woman missing after family dispute. Ashley Chen, 34, hadn't been seen since March 18th. Husband filed missing person report. Police found no sign of trouble. Her car at airport long-term parking. Ticket to Las Vegas purchased but never used. The creditors returned to Ryan's apartment April 4th. More insistent this time. According to the police report Ryan filed, they left a photo from January. Ashley at the casino. Card spread on the table owing $600,000. Ryan asked for a restraining order. The judge asked about the money owed. Order denied. His garage sale that weekend became neighborhood entertainment. The Facebook group posts forwarded by Patricia's investigator painted a sad picture. Everything must go sale. Furniture that once hosted charity events. Ashley's golf clubs custom-made. Sold for $300. Wedding china. Crystal glasses. $75 for everything? His suit from the wedding. Cleaned and pressed. No one made an offer. A neighbor posted sad. Last year they hosted that cancer fundraiser here. Raised $30,000. By mid-April, Ryan's job applications flooded Phoenix's market. 39 positions in 3 weeks. Track through LinkedIn marketing firms experience gap too long. Management positions overqualified. Finally, Target hired him. The same store where he used to complain about prices. Starting pay $14.50 an hour. The universe had a sense of humor. April 12th, an eviction notice appeared on his door. 4 months behind on rent. Ashley had handled money. Never mentioned the debt. $2,800 monthly. $11,200 owed plus fees. May 12th deadline to pay or leave. He found this coming home from his first day at Target. Still wearing the red employee vest he used to mock. The divorce filing April 15th read like a business breakup. Abandonment listed as reason. Ashley must be notified. Location unknown. Judge allowed newspaper publication. Cost $400 that Ryan didn't have. He used his Target employee discount to buy court clothes. The first clothing he bought with earned money in 8 years. While Ryan rebuilt from nothing, I built something new in Phoenix. My days found a rhythm I'd forgotten. Sunrise with desert birds singing. Coffee on the balcony. Morning walks in the park. Lunch at Rose's Cafe where nobody knew about stores or sons. Afternoon painting classes where I made actual friends. People who liked me for me, not my money. Gloria invited me to dinners where we talked about art, books, and life. Nobody asked for anything except to pass the bread. Real conversations. Margaret took up photography, taking terrible pictures that made us both laugh. We hadn't laughed together since Ryan was little and still sweet. Not romantic between us. Just sisters, like survivors of the same storm sharing a boat. My doctor in Phoenix was amazed. Blood pressure down 20 points. Weight lost 15 lbs without trying. 2 medications were changed. She asked how everything shifted. I stopped paying for other people's lives and started living my own. April 22nd, News 12 Phoenix broke the story. Missing Phoenix woman found in Nevada. Ashley Chen working at a casino in Reno under a fake name. The photo showed her behind a card table, 15 pounds thinner, wedding ring gone. Police said no charges for civil debts. Ryan commented on the article with 3 words. Good riddance forever. April 24th, Ryan finally used the storage unit key. Sarah from the airport reported what he found. Every childhood item I'd saved. Photo albums he thought were thrown away. His father's watch presumed lost in my move. A $10,000 savings bond in his name due in 1 year. And a note in my handwriting, for when you remember who you were before money ruined you. The email arrived April 25th. Forwarded by Patricia. Ryan's words carefully written. Mrs. Hayes, please tell my mother I found the storage unit. I think I understand now. I'm sorry for everything. I'm working at Target. I'm surviving. Maybe that's what I needed to learn. Don't tell her I asked. But is she okay? Patricia asked if she should reply. April 26th, sunset at the community center. Margaret beside me at art class. The same musician from my first week playing nearby. The same spot where Ryan was finding the box that changed everything. Tell him I'm good, I said to Patricia on the phone. Tell him the bond was his Aunt Margaret's idea. Anything else? Tell him I'll be here when he's ready to visit. But he pays his own way. That night I watched Phoenix families at the park. 3 generations playing together. Nobody on phones. Everyone actually talking. Poor by some standards. Rich in ways that mattered. Ryan texted Patricia. Thank you for telling me. Maybe Christmas if I save enough. First time in 8 years he'd mentioned saving for anything. April 27th. Gloria's art show at the community center. She dedicated a piece to me. A painting of a bird leaving a cage. Not about money, she said. About every person who finds freedom by letting go. Margaret translated the Spanish title for me. The mother who found herself. It wasn't really about me. It was about every parent there. All of us learning that sometimes love means stepping back. Patricia called that evening. Ryan sold his truck, bought a 15-year-old Corolla, opened a savings account, posted on Facebook about the dignity of honest work. Should I keep watching him? She asked. The lesson is done. The teaching is over. The learning is his now. The eviction notice had been on Ryan's door since April 12th. By May 3rd, Patricia told me he tried everything. Begged the landlord, offered partial payments, even tried to negotiate. He never knew I'd told the landlord to stay firm. No more enabling. Security footage from his building showed him renting the smallest U-Haul on Saturday morning. Loading it alone took 14 hours. Mrs. Johnson, who Ryan had ignored for 3 years, offered help from her window. Ryan's pride, even broken, wouldn't let him accept. He wrestled with a couch by himself, dragging it inch by inch to the truck while people watched. The storage unit he could afford held everything except clothes and his laptop. 1 month paid, cheapest place in Phoenix. Pure irony. His unit sat 2 doors down from the one I'd left for him, the one with the bond. He walked past it every day, never knowing. May 8th brought Ashley's final message, a certified letter requiring signature. The postal worker later wrote a statement for Ryan's divorce case describing how his hands shook signing for it. Inside one page, Ashley's handwriting. Ryan, by the time you read this, I'll have a new identity in Reno. The people looking for me won't find me here. Don't try either. I'm sorry about your mom's money, but you were the one who said she'd never cut us off. We both gambled. We both lost. The prenup your mom made me sign means you get nothing from me. Consider us even. Jay, his Target manager, called Patricia out of concern. Ryan didn't show up for 4 days. When he came back, he'd lost 12 lb. Hollow dark circles. The manager almost fired him. For the first time in Ryan Chen's life, he begged, actually begged, kept the job by promising perfect attendance from then on. May 12th, eviction day. Ryan's new address. A room in a house on Roosevelt Street. Shared with 3 other people. Same neighborhood he'd called dangerous when visiting college friends. 100 square ft window AC that sounded like a lawnmower. Shared bathroom, shared kitchen, $450 monthly. Cash only, no credit check needed. The second job started May 13th. Denny's night shift. 10:00 p.m. to 6 a.m. The same Denny's, where he'd complained about slow service 2 years before, demanded to see the manager over cold pancakes. Now he served drunk college kids and tired truckers for $2.25 hourly plus tips. His new schedule became automatic. Wake at 4 p.m., target from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sleep from midnight to 9 a.m. Denny's from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Repeat. Mondays off spent doing laundry and making cheap meals. Value meats means the cheapest ground beef at the dollar store. Margaret visited May 21st. She called me that night, her voice gentle. I saw Ryan today. He was quiet, 20 lb lighter, wearing Goodwill clothes. One picture on his wall. Your photo from his college graduation. How did he seem? Tired, humble, different. We talked, Margaret continued. I helped your mother plan this. Are you angry? I was. Now I'm too tired for anger. The bond was my insurance policy for when you hit rock bottom. This is bottom. No. Bottom is when you stop blaming others and start changing yourself. Ryan's admission came slow, like pulling teeth. I was a terrible son. You were a spoiled son. There's a difference, isn't there? Terrible might not be fixable. Spoiled can learn and grow. Memorial Day weekend came with Phoenix's dry heat. Ryan worked doubles at Target. Time and a half for holidays. Denny's afterward was packed with partygoers. He made $240 in tips one night, more money than he'd touched since March. The Denny's camera captured him at 6:20 a.m., May 27th, sitting in his old Corolla, counting tips, crying. Not manipulation tears, real ones. He later told Patricia it was the first money he truly earned. No lying, no family name, no games, just work. His phone records showed a text typed but never sent. I made $240 tonight by myself. I know you won't see this. I know you're gone, but I wanted you to know I'm starting to get it. He deleted it, but the phone company kept records. Meanwhile, in Phoenix, summer had arrived. I'd started volunteering at the senior center teaching furniture refinishing. The seniors called me Teacher Catherine. Nobody knew about my money. Margaret sold her photographs at the farmer's market. 20s each, donating money to the art program. We ate dinner together most nights. Simple food. Chicken W vegetables. Better than any fancy restaurant. Patricia sent her last report. Ryan's working 2 jobs. Living in a shared house. Surviving. My answer. Stop watching. He needs to do this alone now. May 27th, midnight. Ryan started another Denny's shift. Memorial Day crowd coming in. He tied his apron. Picked up his order pad. Walked to a table of loud fraternity boys. The type he used to party with. Welcome to Denny's. What can I get you? One recognized him. His voice loud with beer. Ryan Chen from the country club. He didn't look away. That's me. Now what would you like to order? Patricia told me later that was the moment. Serving pancakes to people who knew his old life that Ryan stopped being my burden and started becoming himself. June brought Phoenix's full summer and Ryan found his pace. Target customers started asking for him by name. He'd become genuinely helpful instead of fake. The Denny's regular customers, nurses mostly, tipped extra because he remembered their orders without writing them down. Black coffee for Linda, tea with lemon for Sue, decaf for Maria trying to quit caffeine. His roommate at the house told Patricia that Ryan had gone from size 36 pants to 32, not from dieting, from working. Walking miles daily across store floors, carrying heavy trays all night, eating only what he could afford. His face got thinner, but his eyes gained something new. Clarity. Sundays stayed the same. Laundromat at 5 a.m. when it was empty. Grocery shopping at the discount stores where food cost half the regular price. Cooking meals in the shared kitchen. Then something unexpected. The library. He'd started reading money management books, taking notes in a cheap notebook like a college student again. June 8th, Thursday. Ryan checked his mail at the house. Usually bills, credit card offers for people with good credit. He didn't qualify anymore? This time, a cream envelope, no return address, Phoenix postmark. His hands shook when he saw my handwriting. He sat on the front steps, couldn't wait to get to his room. 3 pages of my careful writing. The same writing that signed birthday cards and checks for 33 years. The letter said, Ryan, I'm writing this from my apartment in Phoenix. A boy here reminds me of you at 8. Brave, curious, demanding the world give him everything. The difference is he's also grateful. I don't blame you for who you became. I helped create you. Every time you cried, I wrote a check. Every time you demanded, I delivered. I thought I was showing love. I was actually hurting you. Margaret says you're working 2 jobs now. Work teaches what gifts never can. That money represents time, effort, sacrifice. Every dollar you earn has weight my gifts never had. I'm not coming back to who I was. That woman was a checkbook with a heartbeat, but I might come back to meet who you're becoming. The storage unit key you found. That was Margaret's idea. She said you'd need hope. The bond matures. April 2026. By then, you'll either have learned to live without rescue or you'll still be waiting for someone to save you. Either way, you'll know who you really are. I do love you. Always have. But love without respect is just pity. Earn my respect, Ryan. More importantly, earn your own. P.S. Your grandfather would be proud of you working at Denny's. He was a dishwasher when he met Grandma. You never knew that. I was too ashamed to tell you. Now I'm not ashamed. I was ashamed. Ryan kept that letter in his apron pocket for 2 weeks. His coworker at Denny's said he'd read it during breaks. Crying in the bathroom. Not angry tears, something deeper? Hess started asking coworkers about their lives, their families, their struggles. Actually listening, he called Margaret about the grandfather story. Why didn't anyone tell me Grandpa was a dishwasher? You never asked about anyone's struggles, only their success. What else don't I know? Everything that really matters. The change showed in his target performance review. Ryan has become our most reliable employee. Customers trust him. He relates to people on budgets. He understands sacrifice now. They promoted him to team lead. $16 an hour? The first promotion he'd earned instead of demanding June 22nd. Ryan wrote back, 7 days, 50 drafts. Margaret shared parts with me. I'm writing this at 3 a.m. between jobs. My feet hurt, my back. I've never felt better. Not happy like Vegas and parties. Happy like I earned this sandwich. Happy like customers asked for me. Happy like I paid my own rent. Happy I was so angry when you left. How dare you abandon me? Now I understand. You didn't abandon me. You freed me from who we'd both let me become. Ashley is gone. She was my mirror showing my worst self. We were leeches feeding off your kindness. When the source dried up, we had nothing. I don't want your money anymore. That's not bravado or pride. I'll need the bond eventually to get my own apartment. But I want it as seed money for the life I'm building, not rescue from the life I'm living. Come back when you're ready. Not save me just to see me. The real me, the one buried under entitlement and laziness. Yes, I kept one thing from my old life. The photo of us at graduation. You look so proud. I want to earn that look again. The letter reached me June 29th, Independence Day week. Perfect timing. I read it on my balcony while Margaret looked over my shoulder. He gets it, Margaret said. Getting it and living it are different. Give him time. How long? How long did it take you to really change? I'm still changing. Exactly. June 27th, 10 p.m., Ryan starting his Denny's shift. An old regular customer sat in his section. Man who always ate alone tonight. He said something different. You seem lighter, son. Unburdened somehow. Ryan smiled. A real smile. I'm learning to carry my own weight instead of making others carry it for me. The man left a $25 tip on a 9 check. The note said, for your future. From someone who learned the same lesson. Ryan decided that night to visit Phoenix in August. Patricia told me, not to ask for anything, just to seem. I decided that night to let him come. Not to rescue him, not to test him, just to see who he was becoming when nobody was paying his way. I landed at Phoenix Sky Harbor August 12, 2025. Different terminal than I'd left from. 5 months felt like 5 years. Margaret stayed at the apartment. This is your story to finish, she'd said. The rental car was a basic sedan, not the luxury I used to demand. I drove past my old furniture store still running without me. Past Ryan's old apartment where a new family lived on his balcony. Their happiness simple and real. Checked into a Holiday Inn, not a resort. Part of my new simple life called Patricia. I'm here. Does he know? No. Want to watch him at work first. Natural behavior, not a show. Target. He's there until 10. At 3 p.m., I stood in Target on Camelback Road, watching from the electronics section. Ryan knelt beside an elderly man helping scan coupons. Patient and kind. The Ryan I knew would have called another worker for that. He changed physically, lean and strong, moving with purpose, not laziness. His uniform was clean but worn, hair simple, no more expensive haircuts. His face without the old arrogance was beautiful, honest. At 9:30, I walked over like any customer. "Excuse me, where do I find batteries?" He turned, froze, his mouth opened. No words. Then quietly, "Hello, Ryan." We both stood still. 5 months of change hanging between us. Then he laughed. Not bitter, just laughed. "You're shopping at Target. You haven't shopped here in 20 years. Things change. They do." He couldn't leave the floor. Had 30 minutes left on his shift. So I stayed as a customer. We talked carefully while he helped me find things. "You look different." And I said, "I am different. Poverty is a good teacher. It's not poverty, it's reality. Same thing when you're used to fantasy." He checked out my items, applied his employee discount without asking. Small pride in that gesture. I get off at 10 wow. Then, Denny's at 10:30. "Can we eat dinner between?" "I can't afford to eat out. We'll cook." "Where do you live?" He hesitated, gave me the address. It's not fancy. Neither am I anymore. At 10:15, I climbed the steps to his room. He changed from his uniform into old jeans and a donated shirt. Both clean, but clearly used. The room was tiny, but spotless. One chair, one bed. He gave Meth a chair. "It's not much," he started. "It's yours. That makes it everything." On the wall, our graduation photo. On the tiny desk, my letter on a shelf, a library, books about money. I cooked pasta with the food he had, basic but fresh. We ate at his small table, mismatched plates, bent forks, better than any country club meal. "I hated you," he said suddenly. "You know, wanted you gone forever. Wanted to never see you again. You know, how could you leave me with nothing? How could I leave you with everything? It was destroying you, destroying us both." Silence. Not uncomfortable. Necessary. At 10 p.m., he needed to get ready for Denny's. I pulled out an envelope. This isn't rescue. It's opportunity. Inside a $3,000 check and a contract. What's this job offer? You work for me. Not at the furniture store. New project. Teaching money skills to young people. You know the cost of not learning. I'm not qualified. You're perfectly qualified. You've been both sides. Rich without understanding. Poor with awakening. He read the contract 3 times. Fair pay. No special treatment. Raises based on work. This isn't charity. This is business. You fail, you're fired, son or no. And if I succeed, then you'll have truly succeeded. At 10:20, he had to leave for Denny's. He hugged me. First real hug in years. Not manipulation, not performance. Connection. I'll call tomorrow after I think about the contract. Read it carefully. That's lesson 1. I'm learning. We both are. 2 months later, Ryan accepted the job, but kept Denny's on weekends for 4 months. Wanted backup. Smart thinking. His first workshop had 8 people. 1 year later, he spoke at high schools. 2 years later, he wrote LeSun plans for community centers. He never touched the bond when it matured. Used it as down payment on a small apartment. The cash came from his own savings. 2 years of Target and Denny's. Every dollar earned. Ashley never returned from Reno. Heard she married someone wealthy there. The pattern repeating. Not our concern anymore. Thanksgiving 2025. Ryan hosted in his small apartment. Margaret brought sides. I brought dessert. We sat on the floor around his coffee table. 3 plates, 3 forks, 3 grateful hearts. Ryan raised his water glass. He worked that night at Denny's. To family, Margaret added. To lessons learned, finished, to second chances earned, not given. We touched glasses together. Plastic and glass, perfect in their imperfection. The money I'd spent my life making meant nothing compared to the wealth in that tiny room. A son's respect earned, not demanded. The knowledge that sometimes the greatest gift is letting someone save themselves. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to Granny Life Stories for more true stories, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever had to make a hard choice for someone you love? Tell me your story to hear another story about family and hard lessons. Click the video on your screen. Thank you for listening to Granny Life Stories. Remember, real love sometimes means stepping back so others can step up. See you in the next.